And welcome back to the ABCs of ERP and Beyond, the podcast where we unpack what's really happening in the world of business systems and digital transformation in the world of ERP. And today we are looking at one of, if not the biggest update of the year in the ERP world, which is Acumatica 2025 Release 2. This release marks a major step forward for the platform, packed with improvements to usability, automation, and artificial intelligence. I've already said it. There we go.
You just said it.
Acumatica is calling it a human-first ERP, and I think there's a lot behind that idea. So today we're going to break down our highlights that we've spotted, what's new, what's smart, and what it means really for businesses that are running on Acumatica today, or if you're considering Acumatica, what you can expect with 2025 R2. And to help me do that, as always, is my co-host Nirav Shah. Welcome back.
Reporting for duty. Happy to be back over here, Peter, and talk about this really, like you said, step forward release here for Acumatica. Just to kind of put this in perspective, this particular release is 365 pages on the release notes. So a lot of stuff here on it, but we can't forget about the big elephant in the room here, Peter. You had a big event just a little bit ago, and I was very, very happy to attend and be in presence of this event. And that's where Peter got married a couple weeks ago. So congratulations, Peter.
Thank you.
Drop the confetti.
Oh yeah, where's that celebration thing? If there's a time for that, it's right now, and I missed
right
my
now.
Cue.
Exactly, it's right now.
Can I do this? Does that work? Yeah.
So yeah, that was a ton of fun. We were together out in London. A beautiful wedding ceremony, by the way. The background and the venue was super phenomenal. And yeah, that was fun. So we took a little bit of a break. We had to get Peter married, and we thought about maybe shooting in the middle of the ceremony, but I think the guests wouldn't have enjoyed it. So we opted not to. And Peter, yeah, took a little break after that, and we're back now. Excited to be back. And I thought timing was great because with this release coming out, something for us to talk about right away. But it's been a fun last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been full of holiday, or mini moon as we call it. We had a little mini honeymoon, obviously married in October. Weather's not great anywhere in the Northern Hemisphere, but we did find some winter sun in Cyprus. So yeah, spent the week over there. We've both been ill. You and I are both ill. And then, straight back into it, I guess. So this is the first time we've had a chance to record. But here we are. So no, I should try and get back into the swing of things. And look, thank you so much for coming. I'm so stoked that you managed to come all the way from Chicago, Illinois to good old London to celebrate with us. So
it was either that or a Zoom call. So I thought, I'd just rather be on site. So
people are like, what's that screen up?
Yeah, what's that screen up? Yeah, no, it was a blast, Peter. You did a great job. So, but we're back, and this is going to be a fun episode today. Talk about 25 R2 and all the goodies that Acumatica has kind of packed in here for this release, and a lot. I guess the ones that we're going to go through, at least for sure, our top three each that we're going to talk about are going to be, I think, the foundational points for Acumatica to grow further in the future, right? Yeah. It's not just features, I would say. I think they're like real platform shifts in what they're doing with the solution, and then what the possibilities are, down the road for businesses and industries to use a solution like Acumatica down the road. So a lot of great things.
I think this is the first one. Now, if you're not sure what we're talking about here, Acumatica, much like Microsoft with Business Central, they come up with 2 major releases a year. Throughout the year, there's incremental updates, but there's 2 phases in the year that have like a major release. So we call it 2025, or sorry, the year, then release 1, and then
Yep.
later on in the year, you've got release 2. So we're
Yep.
talking about 2025 R2, which is
Mm-hmm.
release 2 of the 2025 version of Acumatica, which came out end of September-ish.
Yeah.
And I would say that this is probably one of the ones that, now I haven't been around too long, but I would say this is one of the biggest ones that I've seen. And of recent years, it's always been
Mm-hmm.
that second release that seems to have
Yeah.
more tangible stuff.
Yeah.
We see that here in 2025 R2. If I think back to 2025 R1, a lot of it was, well, here's like the release was, here's some things that are coming in the future kind of thing,
Mm-hmm.
where they
Mm-hmm.
already spoke about AI and they were previewing things that no one's going to actually use yet. Whereas
Right.
2025 R2, now we actually see tangible features in this release.
Yeah.
And I think also these ones, obviously, I'm heavily implying the AI part of this, but I'm really seeing that this is now like, here's a release of this feature.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to future proof us for the next few years,
Yep.
rather than just here's a new feature of a cool thing in an existing kind of module that we already do. It's almost like a shift now that we're seeing this kind of way of building out what Acumatica will look like in the years to
Mm-hmm.
come,
Yeah.
rather than anything else. Like, so when we talk about AI and the ability to kind of have an LLM within your ERP, that's now released.
Yep.
But that's not just like a feature and everyone gets used to it. Like, think of the possibilities that are going to come from this over the
Exactly.
next few years. That's why I
Exactly.
think this release in particular is one of the biggest ones of late that we've had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And the emphasis here is future proofing your business. It was a theme in Summit this past year, right? Future proof your business. And we heard John Kay say it everywhere through his keynote speech and everything like that. And this is really the result of that message is, with these solutions, these functionality pieces coming out, platform changes, is to future proof your business. And I do feel that, Acumatica is probably one step ahead in other ERP platforms potentially, and doing this in a way that makes the most sense, right? Where
Yep.
it's, we'll talk about this in a little bit, but they took their time to roll out. They could have easily rolled out like what Business Central did. They rolled out Copilot really quickly into Business Central, but to be honest, right, is it really usable? Not really. When we go out and show customers, Business Central, and we show the Copilot feature, it doesn't operate the way you'd expect an AI type of solution to operate,
Mm.
and the way we're all used to using AI nowadays, in it being very intelligent. It's just not that intelligent inside Business Central yet. But what Acumatica is doing with their AI Studio, which is like a solution that sits inside Acumatica, but it's already designed for you to write things and accept
Yeah.
prompts for it to take legit action. Like there's some actual data that comes back that's meaningful, versus the Copilot in Business Central is not so much there yet. So they really, I think, are doing a nice thing here with the AI piece. But I do gotta say, with such a huge release that Acumatica did this time, 25R2, you have to kind of be careful, because there's GUI changes, huge GUI changes that we know of, right?
Yeah.
With the AI piece and everything else, you just can't, like with the previous releases, it was kind of an easier decision. Let's just go ahead and upgrade. I think this one you kind of have to pump the brakes on that decision. You have to like really properly test it out. Do the screens match up? What are you losing? What are you gaining? Right?
Mm.
How do you bring this AI feature inside your business immediately or down the road? What's the strategy behind it? Right? Like this is one that if you upgrade too fast, I feel like could really kind of hurt you. Um, if you don't dot the I's and cross the T's.
Yeah.
So, I'll definitely, caution any customer out there right now that is looking to say, hey, this is great. After this podcast, how do I get my hands on it? Let's go and upgrade production. Well, I would say just take your time. Do a deep test on it. Do your screens match up? Does the functionality still? Your processes, everything works as you expect it to, right? And not just make a switch overnight. Like really do your due diligence before you move forward with this, because it could have some detrimental effects if you do it without just kind of reviewing what the future state looks like once you upgrade. So
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, let's get going. So we've picked our 3. I have 3. Nirav, you have 3 as well.
Yep.
Things that we like the look of in this release. So let's get straight into them. What's your first
Yep.
one for you?
So I have an MBA in accounting, and my bachelor's degree is in supply chain management, but I really gravitate towards the MBA side of my career, the accounting side of my career, and I really like the Build.com integration. Build.com, for those that aren't familiar, is probably one of the leading AP automation tools out there. And what it does is it allows, there's so many vendors that are integrated with Build.com. Basically, a vendor gets onboarded there, they shoot their invoices through there, so you see them electronically, and then you could pay directly back to the vendor through there electronically. Really hyper focused in AP, and they do it really, really, really well. That whole AP workflow they do like better than no other company that I know of, at least from Build.com perspective. And I think Acumatica realized that this is a competitive advantage if we take Build.com, and knowing that a lot of their customer base uses it already, and just kind of integrate Acumatica directly to Build.com. So what that does is a bill comes in through Build.com, and it basically gets immediately passed through into Acumatica. Okay. And then once you submit payment through Build.com, that payment gets executed in Acumatica. So the AP team, they're very used to using this platform, Build.com. They could continue using it, but the whole back end, all the AP data still goes into Acumatica at the end of the day, right? Still keeps it real time, which I think it's great. I think that's a really good strategic move by Acumatica to provide this integration, because it's getting more and more popular. I know for us specifically, a lot of prospects ask us about this Build.com. Do you have this? Do you integrate with this? Type of thing. And look, let's face it, AP folks are very they need to be able to do their job quickly. And when you take them away from what Build.com does really well, and have them do that in Acumatica manually, they kind of feel like it's a step back. So this way they're doing it in Build.com, but Acumatica gets updated. I think it's a perfect move. And you're going to see a lot of success with this integration. It's probably even going to get deeper and more tightly integrated. Right now, it's already pretty tightly integrated with this new release. It does everything from AP invoice, does 3-way matching. It allows you to go ahead and do approval workflows within Acumatica, send back approvals through Build.com. Payments. You're not cutting manual checks in Acumatica. You're not doing any of that. All that stuff happens on the Build.com side and gets updated in Acumatica. So I think it's a great new integration piece, and I think it's going to be well received with a lot of customers for sure.
I think this really does fit into Acumatica's like broader trend that we're seeing of this kind of whole connected back office environment that they've been building out. When I first of all saw this announced, I thought it's so comprehensive, streamlined, integrated, all of those cool buzzwords. But it just reminded me of how well something like Avalara works for tax. That's another area. It's a whole world of pain if you don't get it right. And I would say it's probably one of the more error-prone parts of business process. It just screamed to me that this was a great solution to really move towards that connected ecosystem in the background, but also having it almost as a touchless process now. Much like Avalara, of syncing that data out and pulling data back in.
Yep, exactly. And it goes to show how open this Acumatica is in general. like how they could quickly just take a whole build.com integration and plug it right into Acumatica, right? It's literally an open system with, a lot of webhooks, a lot of open APIs that allow the possibility to do this. So this was a great move. I really like this integration, and it's going to open the doors for customers that don't use build.com that have this
Yeah.
opportunity now to, say, hey, let's get a better AP process and let's use build.com, because a lot of vendors are using build.com to submit their invoices to their customers. So this is really nice, and I like the integration. There's some new screens in Acumatica to get this working. Users, there's a new user setup around this. You have a new cash account around this in terms of funding, Bill.com payments essentially, and a few other profiles in which you need to set up to get this working. But it's really kind of minimal. It's
Hmm.
not this full setup thing you got to do inside Acumatica. It's like 3 screens and you're up and going pretty fast. So the implementation of this doesn't seem to me too difficult. It seems pretty turnkey. So whoever is looking for this integration in this new release, I think is going to be pleased that they could get this up and going pretty fast.
Yep. Very good. Nice one to kick off with. Great integration. Well done, Acumatica.
Yeah.
Just yet another great partnership, right? We've
Yeah.
seen of late some e-commerce stuff. Now we're seeing some AP stuff. They're really
Absolutely.
starting to build that out, so it's good to see.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, my one is this is a big one. Well, they're all big, but this one for me is my favorite one. Acumatica's modern UI has gone GA. It's now
Yeah.
generally available. 2025 R2 sees this. It's been in the
Yes.
pipeline for multiple years, I would
Yeah.
say.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
But what I love about this is it's not just a visual facelift. Like when
Hmm.
you look at the screenshots, it just looks like, oh yeah, it's a spruce up and it makes it look
Yeah.
more modern. Like
Right.
part of me says maybe they shouldn't have called it modern UI because it's like they've just made it look pretty on the front end.
Yeah.
But it's a complete overhaul of the user experience, I would say, not
Yep.
just the user interface.
Yep.
So
Yep.
for me, I guess the key enhancements, one, yes, it looks much nicer. Dashboards don't look like they're from the mid 90s now. They look cleaner,
Yep.
more modern. I'm going to say modern lots of times. Maybe that's why I use that word. Um, but one of the things I like, well, two major things I like outside of that is one, the performance. Rendering
Yep.
times are now much better. We know
Hmm.
that they don't do lazy loading. We know they still have
Hmm.
paginated screens, fine.
Hmm. Yep.
But rendering times are better. It feels
Yeah.
more lightweight. It's more like, it's almost like it's been bootstrapped. So
Yeah.
it scales to window sizes a lot better than the classic UI now. Um, as they call it. So the UI you're probably on now is now the
Yeah.
classic UI. It's just a bit nicer than that.
Yeah.
But I will also say that it's a lot. My second point here is the customizability, if that's a word,
Yeah.
of it. So what they've done now is you have the ability. We'll probably throw a screen up like a small movie thing showing you this, but you have the ability to show and hide and customize screens a lot easier. I should say configure screens
Configure.
because
Yeah.
it used to be a customization. So
Yeah.
if you were on, I don't know, bills and adjustments screen, and there was
Hmm.
something in that header area that didn't
Hmm.
apply to you, it was always going to show 0. You don't do, say it's cash discounts. You just didn't do cash discounts. You can just remove it. You can have that screen personalized and
Yep.
just hide it. Now,
Yep.
before that was a screen customization.
Right.
Whereas now you can put that screen into edit mode, just like you
Hmm.
do with dashboards, move things around, put things where you want to, include things that might not be there by default, and also
Right.
hide things. So I think this is a great step forward to um, have Acumatica set up exactly how you want it
Yep.
without having to build a load of customization packages.
Yeah, and this goes hand in hand on what the users are looking for. They want a really easy to understand screen, really friendly on the eyes, right? Because you look at some of these more, more prominent modern solutions out there, they're getting away with a boxy feel. And it feels like friendly, approachable when you're
Yeah.
going through the UI and navigating through the screen, right? I think it just gives it a much better balance when you're going field to field, and it feels like a really nicely put together UI at the end of the day. You mentioned the whole configuration part of it, which is huge. You could take really in the past in the classic UI, any user defined fields would kind of become its own tab if you
Yeah.
if you added them. Now these user defined fields are right there in that main page of yours, main screen.
Yep.
So you could put that wherever you want, which makes that workflow a lot more intuitive for the user. At the end of the day, so more kind of feels like it's your system. So that's really nice. But I do have to say about one thing about the modern UI, which I think everyone should kind of keep in mind. It's There's a give and take, right? So with the classic, right, if you have your screens configured a certain way, or there's certain elements of the page or screens that are already there, with the modern UI, those might be hidden or they need to be turned on or activated.
Yep.
So it's not a direct move and you're going to see the same screen the way you've already left it from the classic. It's going to take some time to get those screens back to the way you had them in the classic client. So I'll
Yep.
just kind of word of caution there. Definitely test that in your testing. If you get a sandbox environment of
Yeah.
a 25R2, see that. I'll give you an example. If you're a customer that does projects, you can't find the commitment tab at the modern UI. You have to add it through the project configuration, preferences screen. So then you'll see it, right? So it's not just there.
Hmm.
So things like that. Like I got tripped up surprisingly when I was in the modern UI. I was in a PO and I was trying to link a project task, but the way I think maybe it was my resolution or something. So you kind of have to be aware of all this stuff. The scroll bar on the bottom that scrolls left to right, it was kind of hidden. I couldn't even see it, so I couldn't see that the project task field. It was available. I saw it. I mean, I saw it like when I was looking at the columns available. It was already there in the view, but I couldn't see it because I didn't know where that
Mm-hmm.
scroll bar was, and it
Mm-hmm.
was so dug in the bottom of my screen that I had to like kind of collapse my toolbar for me to get to that scroll,
Mm-hmm.
and then I scrolled and I could see it, right? So things like that you have to just
Yeah.
be careful for. It may drive you nuts a little bit until you figure it out, but take your time and test it because
Yep.
as much as it's going to be a, a, a it's going to be a nice welcoming screen, and
Mm-hmm.
everyone's going to have so much more joy using Acumatica this way. Just avoid the frustration and take the time, due diligence to go through and make sure the screens and you have the information that you need that was there in the classic client is available
Yep.
in the modern
Yep.
UI for you. So, but it's a great step forward. I really like the way it looks, it feels.
That reminds me. Here's a long overdue rant, but only because you said about a lateral scroll bar being missing. But a
Yeah.
lot of people say, "Oh yeah, well yeah, you don't use Acumatica in Edge. Like it's not. You need to use Chrome or something like that."
Uh
I'm
huh.
like, no, no, I
Yeah.
should be able to use any browser I want. You cannot come out with a browser-based platform and then say, "Yeah, but it doesn't work with this. It doesn't work very well in Edge. Like for
Right.
this, you need to use Chrome." Like, sorry, I should. That's
Exactly.
on you. If you're coming out with a
Exactly.
browser-based solution, then I should be able to use any browser. Like that's on you to make sure it works in every single browser.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go
Yeah.
and buy a car and be told, "Oh yeah, this car is great, but don't drive it on this particular road." Like no, it should work on all roads. Don't say now I can't, drive down single lane track roads because
Right.
you didn't create the car so it could do that. Like that's
Exactly.
on you to make sure it works anywhere that I technically can drive it on.
Right.
It just annoys
Exactly.
me, right? People
No,
are like,
I,
oh
I,
yeah, well
I
it doesn't really work in Edge. Like, no,
yeah,
Edge is a
no,
Chromium-based browser, exactly on
exactly.
the same framework as Chrome. There should be no
I agree.
reason why I can't use it wherever I want.
I agree. I completely agree. I know. I remember that too. I generally do use Chrome, but you should be able to use it in anything. This shouldn't be an issue. Oh, next thing you know, Acumatica might come out with their own browser. Acumatica is only used in the Acumatica
Oh,
browser.
don't, don't. OpenAI's just done that. Don't. We
Yeah.
don't all need every company having their own browser. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
If
Yeah,
everyone
but
does that, then I'm going to really put my tinfoil hat on. I'm going to go to a Tor browser. I'm going to hide behind multiple VPNs. It just don't stop coming out with
just
your
don't
own
do-
browser to
yeah,
scrape
don't
data
cover.
off me.
Yeah.
Anyway, my other caveat then, if we're doing caveats about the modern UI, I do
Yeah.
have one, because
Yeah.
I've noticed this now as an end user. We have found that with the dashboards, granted, we can probably fix this kind of stuff with permissions, but with dashboards, especially in our early days where we were fixing things, tweaking some KPI cards on dashboards, adding GIs onto those dashboards, when we were doing these, our end users were reporting they weren't seeing the changes. They kept coming back to
Mm,
us going, nope, still broken. And they
mm.
had inadvertently created their own personalized dashboard off the
Uh,
back of the default one. So they were saying it's not
mhm.
fixed. And of
Yeah.
course, we're going, well, it's working for me. And you try and refresh it, you put it into edit mode and you save it and you go, right, try again.
Mhm.
They're saying, nope, it's still not fixed.
Mhm.
Then you log on remotely to their PC, or you log in as them, and then you find out, they've made their own version of it, of their personalized dashboard. So you have to
Yeah.
remove that to put them back to the
Yep.
default, and then they're like,
Yep.
now I can see your changes. That for me is such a pain in the ass. I can
Yeah.
see that starting to happen with
Yep.
some of these now screens that you can do your own version of that screen. If I'm
Right.
making changes that's going to be for the whole company, so the sales order screen, and I
Yep.
need a user defined field here, and I want
Right.
to hide discount or whatever, I want to
Mhm.
be able to roll that out and all users immediately see that change. I don't
Yeah.
want to have to go round and
Right.
play whack-a-mole with the people that didn't even realize they created their own version.
Yeah. I agree.
It's a
100%.
pain.
It is a pain. I've encountered that as well.
That should be more clear in the user permissions.
Yes. Yes. Mhm. Mhm.
I'm all
Mhm.
for personalizations,
Yeah.
granted,
Yeah.
but not when you're
Granted, they're
fixing the
manageable.
defaults.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It should. I wish there was a flag that could say, or some kind of warning thing, I don't know, that says that their personalized screen is now kind of out of date, or something, like
Yeah. Right.
warn the
Right.
user that the underlying default has changed
Mhm. Mhm.
and they might want to, reset. I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. It should be something like that. I agree with you. Yeah, because you're blind to it, kind of,
Yeah.
right? Until you realize it. So yeah, for sure.
Yep.
So
All right. What's your number two?
we're going to the orchestra actually for this one called order orchestration, and this is a term I haven't heard anywhere in the ERP industry. To be honest with you, I don't think any really ERP company. Um, there are probably some companies that do this. Maybe the bigger tier one platforms, more enterprise platforms, maybe already have this concept, a version of it. But in the SMB space, I don't think anyone does. I know for sure Business Central doesn't have this, but order orchestration I think is great for those companies that have multiple locations, right? That they house inventory locations like physical warehouses, right? Let's say one East Coast, one West Coast, one South, one North, and then you have customers all around the country. So instead of the salesperson having to think about, well, what warehouse should I have this customer? Should I ship this order out of for this customer, or have some sort of logic in place saying if a customer orders from this state, it should be shipped out of this warehouse, right? You could have this order orchestration process in Acumatica set up where you prioritize warehouses by states and by where the customer's ordering from. So it helps reduce the fulfillment process for that customer. So you're taking away a lot of like decisions at order entry time that this order orchestration engine in Acumatica goes and makes these decisions for the salesperson based on rules and logic that tells the order where it's going to ship out of, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of like an intelligent fulfillment process that you set these rules up within the system, and then it goes off and just keeps running this engine and finds the optimal locations or warehouses to fulfill product from for your
Mm-hmm.
customers, which I
Yep.
think is pretty badass, to be honest.
This is huge. This for
Yeah.
me is almost as cutthroat as Fire your logistics coordinator. You don't need it. You got a digital
Yeah,
one.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You prioritize by destination, prioritizing by warehouses, right? And I could see a lot of cool AI things coming on top of this. This is just like scratching the surface that Acumatica has rolled out with this.
You know what I see for this, a great one,
Mhm.
if we're going to talk about AI anomaly detection, is
Yeah,
I've got multiple orders that at first I said, yes, we can ship it. It's best to ship it from this warehouse. But a secondary order from that customer comes in, let's say a week later,
yeah,
and they're going to ship together. But
yeah.
I've only got stock in my other warehouse. I want anomaly
Right.
detection or some kind of exception screen to go,
Exactly.
actually, let's
Yeah,
now we know about this new order. Let's change this original one and
yeah,
ship it from this one as well, because they've also got the stock, because
yeah.
now I can do a consolidated shipment here rather than two
Exactly.
separate ones. If we're
Exactly.
thinking that this is a move towards cutting down on shipping costs,
Hmm.
I would like to see them start to use anomaly detection or a way to
That's a good one. Yeah,
see
that's a good one.
exceptions that's like, we've got new information now. Let's go back through all of our open sales orders and see if
Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
another level of improvement or consolidation on shipping and therefore shipping costs that we can do.
Yeah, yeah. That's a really good one, Peter. I could see that being expanded to that level for sure. Because now we got the data, right? And we could see that.
Yep.
And I think it's just going to help customers over time stock the right products at the right locations, right quantities, right warehouses. Get product to customers faster. And then, I mean, Amazon's kind of set the bar, right? 2 days. Pretty soon it's going to be like, I mean, it's almost within hours now, to be honest, right? A lot of this stuff could come within hours. So to be competitive in this retail environment, you got to be able to deliver product fast. They don't want to wait. So
Yeah.
you could start popping up maybe different, 3PL locations all over the place,
Hmm.
and ship out of
Yeah.
there, and without having to worry about, well, I don't want my sales team, my CSR team to take time and look at inventory everywhere and make the right decision and ship out from here. And what if they make the wrong decision now? We're losing a ton in shipping now because we shipped it from the wrong location, warehouse, and we're supposed to ship it from. But this order orchestration does a lot of this thinking for you right now. Is it 100%? Probably not, but can it be 90%? I think it can be. Right, if you set up the rules correctly, it could take away this decision making process, 90% of it, and maybe just leave you with some of the exceptions that could fall off in this anomaly that you're talking about, Peter. Right, at the end of the day, so
Hmm.
uh, I think this is huge for any company, whether you're a manufacturer, whether you're a distribution company, right? Anytime you need to sell inventory and you have multiple warehouses around the country and your customers are located everywhere, I think this is a must have, to be
Yeah.
honest, for your business. If you don't have it, you need to turn it on because this is only going to get better and better and make you way more efficient over time.
Yeah. Yeah. I think this level of rule driven kind of order orchestration, it used to be, and you alluded to this at the start, it used to be exclusive to these large enterprise WMS systems and
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
enterprise level ERP. Here we actually see Acumatica bringing it natively
Yeah.
into
Yep.
Acumatica, which has historically been seen as a small to mid-market ERP. I think
Exactly.
one, they're trying to break that down and say no, Acumatica can also be used at an enterprise level. We know
Yeah.
is the case, but now it brings that ceiling down to people can use these rule-driven events.
Yeah.
Um, uh, it doesn't matter how big a company is. How big your company is, you can benefit from this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I see cut down on human error on
Yeah.
warehouse selection. Obviously, cut down on shipping costs. Probably uh, an increase in your customer-facing metrics. If
Mm-hmm.
you're measuring on time in full, imagine you're probably going to see some gains here because now the system can say, yes, I can fulfill this on time if I
Mm-hmm.
change this from this default warehouse and ship it from this other one. So I
Yep.
think that's a huge win
Yeah.
for uh, distribution
Yeah.
companies out there.
So there's a sales side of it. There's a return side of this too. You could prioritize where the
Yeah.
return comes in, which is
Yep.
a whole. It's return could be cost, it could be an advantage, could be a profit center if you do returns correctly, right? And you get it to the right locations with the minimal cost on there, and you turn it around and you ship it out from the right location back to the customer. It could be a great driver for better customer service and more sales. So, and I don't think sometimes return gets thought of it in that light. Returns in general get thought of it that way. That it could actually help our business if we do returns really well. But this is another area where order orchestration could help you with returns as well to help drive some additional sales.
Yeah, or just, and you can leverage virtual warehouses for this stuff if you've got
That's right.
RMAs. You can really streamline that entire customer return and therefore vendor return process.
Yeah, exactly.
Well done, Acumatica. I'm not going to do the confetti. That's just for my wedding. But yes, it is a very good one.
Yeah.
All right, number 2 for me is I've already said it multiple times, but it is gonna be AI. It's here. It's in Acumatica. Acumatica AI Studio. This is huge. We said at the start, Copilot NBC. It kind of works, kind of doesn't. This is Acumatica's first proper release of anything with AI. If we ignore document recognition, if we ignore anomaly detection stuff, which is okay, we're talking about actually generative AI, LLMs within an ERP, within Acumatica. This one
Peter,
is
I have a
great
question.
because
I have a question, Peter.
Yeah,
what is AI? I'm just hearing about it for the first time.
You are an AI, we know that.
Sorry, that was obviously being facetious, but yes, AI, absolutely.
AI Studio. This is a way of bringing in external LLMs like OpenAI, Azure OpenAI as well, via API keys. So you plug in your API key. My caveat is around this is Acumatica. What are you doing about token limits? What are you doing about my users driving up my costs to LLMs?
Yep.
I'm going to park that for now. It feels like the floodgates is like, here's an API and bang, like all of your end users are driving it, asking it stupid. What's the weather like today? Like, don't ask Acumatica that. You're driving up costs for stupid things. Anyway, but for me, this is huge because now you can really leverage these LLMs. You can build AI prompts. You can, well, we've seen some demos, haven't we? Like, I think it was in Vegas this year that we saw them demo the whole way that you can do closure notes of support cases. No one likes writing out closure notes at all, but you can just say to you can just say to it, can't you, like, do the resolution notes, and it reads through all of the support tickets, all the correspondence, and gives you resolution notes. Done, ticket closed. But now we're starting to see some demos around SEO friendly item descriptions for e-commerce platforms. We're seeing financial summaries, people using the chatbot to say, what was our sales performance last month compared to, what our sales projections look like for this month. We all know what an LLM does. It doesn't sound very dissimilar to what ChatGPT does. But now this is on your data in your ERP. I think this is a great step towards an AI-driven ERP that I've seen when we have a look at what other ERP platforms are doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the possibilities here are gonna explode, and the gains that customers are gonna get, and the insights of the data, right? Because ERP is just not doing nothing but holding transactional data. It comes to life is when you could use tools like the AI Studio and have it look at the data and help you make decisions, right? Like alerting you for what's happening to your inventory, right? Alerting you on financials, right? Hey, your AR balances are getting way too high. Someone's not doing the collection properly. It could be as you mentioned, the cases, right? Closing cases by themselves, right? And logging that essentially at the end of the day. doing
Hmm.
product descriptions. If you're an e-commerce company and you're putting in new products and you're putting in different type of attributes against that products, it could create your descriptions that will automatically then sync into
Yeah.
your e-commerce sites, right? Things like this that I think was not possible, or it required, a lot more like, customization, right? You could have it go as far as, doing purchase orders for you in advance based on planning. You could have it
Hmm.
plan a bunch of inventory for you and automatically create purchase orders based on rules, right?
Yeah.
Optimize your
Well,
purchasing in a day.
think about plugging this into business events. People have already got business events to try and automate some of the boring admin stuff, the
Yep.
repetitive actions. It'd be great to see what solutions people build with business events as well as
Oh
LLMs.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And this is really going to be, a competitive advantage if you're a customer and you understand how to use the AI Studio, AI Assist, within Acumatica. Um, I think that's really probably going to be one of the highest, maybe the highest ROI driver for your license, if
Yeah.
you could really leverage it correctly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it is really a game changer in the space. And like I said earlier, a lot of ERPs are talking AI. They kind of have AI in it, but I don't think anything like Acumatica. Acumatica is really making this a real life AI approach that you could
Yep.
actually use and count on to help move your business forward, not just having AI, kind of
Yep.
in a tag or like a
Yep.
screen or something. This is taking it to the next level.
Yep. I agree. I would say a hot take. Almost every single Copilot I've seen has been shit.
Yeah.
The one in
Yeah.
PowerPoint is terrible. The one in
Yep.
Power BI is terrible. The one in Power Automate is terrible. You try
It's
and
business
ask it to
central.
do something, and
Yeah.
it just fails. Like,
Yeah.
build me this PowerPoint that's got to have this, this, and this, and it looks like a 5-year-old's done it.
Yeah. Exactly.
I don't know why, given that they're on GPT-5 in the background, but they're
Yeah.
terrible. This,
Yeah.
for me, having like, you go and choose what LLM you want, as long as it's got
Yep.
API endpoints,
Mm-hmm.
and you just
Mm-hmm.
plug that into OpenAI,
Yeah.
into Acumatica AI Studio. But
Yeah.
then you've got also system prompts within Acumatica,
Mm-hmm.
so you can kind of do the governance
Yeah.
parts of that within Acumatica. But
Yeah.
imagine this: imagine if you're using, where this is super powerful for me and brings AI to your business, is the ability to use something like Azure OpenAI, which is great for storing. So you can use Azure Data Lake Storage to
Mm-hmm.
store PDFs of uh, business rules, business
Yeah.
policies,
Yep.
HR documents,
Mm-hmm.
um, anything that's specific to the way that you operate. Imagine
Yep.
storing that in there, building something in Azure AI Studio, and then bringing that down into Acumatica. That
Right.
is huge,
That
because
is huge.
just the transactional data in Acumatica might not be enough. Being
Right.
able to bring that from an Azure AI Studio world, which is connected to unstructured PDF data,
Yeah.
into your ERP, which we know is kind of the single source of truth when your
Exactly.
day-to-day operations happen.
Yeah.
Pulling all of this together, this means that now I can have AI that is relevant to my business, actually relevant, not just transactionally
Right.
relevant, but also everything else that goes with running a business, all into an Acumatica AI solution.
Yep.
That's where I think the power is. This is far enough down the road. We're going to have to watch and wait for people to build these
Yeah.
solutions.
Yep.
Keep an eye on
Yep.
LinkedIn for people doing some
Mm-hmm.
really cool stuff with this. But I think once someone grasps this
Yeah.
and finds a case where this could really strengthen, um, the sales team, for example, uh, that's where I think the future of this is going to go. But
But
yeah,
yeah, you're exactly
that's where I see
right.
the strength.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great, ground changing, usable. You could even start, just by hooking it up with the GI right now and start, having it do things, analyze that data, right? Starting it really small and then getting to that Azure, platform, or different LLMs and stuff like that. But this is going to be really ground changing, groundbreaking for customers, and we'll have to see, wait and watch, and kind of what the ecosystem is going to do with this kind of gold. that's there now, and what other ISV solutions are going to come out of this. Okay, all right.
All right, what's your third
Number
and final one?
All right, third and final one may feel small on a lot of people's lists, but I think this is big. I think especially how B2B is going online more and more. Now, before it used to be traditionally D2C, right, direct to consumer, being e-commerce, retailers. We do a lot of business on the D2C side, but we also help B2B customers go online, or that are selling online that need to integrate to an ERP like Acumatica. And this for me is nice because if you're a manufacturer that does retail, online retail, right, even if you're a distributor, but you do a lot of quotes, right? Right now, you could do quotes in Shopify, right, as draft orders, and they basically stay there. No one on the ERP has visibility of how many quotes are done on the Shopify side, right? And there's people inside in the front office that need visibility to that need to call the customer, convince them, saying, "Hey, Mr. Customer, we know you've been sitting on this quote's about to expire. What can we do to get this order over the finish line and have you be a customer of ours and have a sales order in place, right?" So that's been kind of disconnected for such a long time. The out of the box Shopify connector just brings in sales orders, but now with this new release, they're actually also bringing in draft orders as sales quotes. I think it's really nice. It's a good feature to have because you need that visibility in the front office. Like, what is our team doing? How many quotes are out there, right? That we need to convert, talk to customers on, and why are they held up somewhere, right? You get better feedback, and having all that information. Again, your ERP is always going to be your single source of truth, right? At the end of the day, so to have that information in your ERP just adds additional value on how to be a better sales organization. Especially for those B2B customers, right? So I think it's a nice touch addition to the connector to complete that. I think order quote to order process from their e-commerce directly to Acumatica. So that's a nice one. Probably small on maybe some people's lists, but for me, I thought that was a huge value add to bring that in, and shows their Acumatica's continued commitment to keep bringing in new functionality into the connector from Shopify into Acumatica.
Third and final one for me. I put my old data nerd hat back on for this one. You knew I was going to choose this one. GIQL. Yes, we have another language to learn. Generic Inquiry Query Language, GIQL, or GQL. If you think SQL, this is GQL. GQL. This is the next evolution of Acumatica reporting. It will replace the old generic inquiry builder, and it replaces it with a more kind of powerful, almost SQL-like query layer. We'll throw up a screen if we've got one available. This is great. This is really great for those guys that are used to SQL. I would say that the more fundamental reports that are probably driving some data analysis or Power BI reporting, those guys that are building the GIs probably know SQL. Or should know SQL, or at least understand how tables connected one to many, how to build a star schema, etc., etc. What left joins are. I think they should know that stuff.
Yeah,
that brings that world into a very similar syntax inside of Acumatica. So now the screen, hopefully we're putting up right now, shows this kind of very similar world that the data engineers and data analysts are used to. This whole language is like SQL. It's got syntax highlighting. It's got the ability to get very, very specific. It's got some low code, no code options in there. It's got some syntax validation. It's got autocomplete, all those juicy things that you have in any modern kind of program like VS Code or Data Grip or whatever you're using, or SSMS. This is great because now we really are able to leverage the goldmine that an Acumatica system gives us of structured, trusted data. I think this gives every single business analyst essentially a lightweight SQL engine wrapped up in Acumatica's nice modern UI. This is a
Mm-hmm.
marriage that is going to really help the analytics world or
Yep.
the data analysts be able to give business users those kind of reports or Power BI dashboards.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think it's great. It almost seems like it's a natural progression, right? They had this. It was happening behind the scenes already, kind of dynamically with their low code, approach initially with the GI functionality, and they just then kind of opened it up now to some more of those advanced users at the end of the day, right? I
Yeah.
have an example up on my screen if you want me to show it, kind of what that
Yeah,
what
throw it
that
up.
looks like. Here, let me
Yeah,
let me
that's
want to throw it up here, and you'll see kind of what we're talking about over here. So like if you could see that right here within R2 is in a generic inquiry, we have two options here, low code or advanced. So right here within advanced, we get the query mode to put the code in for us,
Yep.
right?
I
So
having this, I now see this as my ability to build SQL views.
yep, yep.
So when
Mm-hmm.
I'm building Power BI reports that uses our data warehouse, I don't pull from the tables. I pull from a view because I'm probably doing some
Exactly.
aggregations, some filtering. Um, Even if it's gold level, so it's already been deduplicated, I'm probably still doing some aggregations before I'm bringing it into Power BI.
Yeah,
It's good practice to join Power BI onto SQL views rather than underlying
right,
tables because of
right.
schema shift or column naming convention changes. I now
Exactly.
see this for GIs. I now see GIs as my way to build essentially what I would call a SQL view and pull
Mm-hmm.
that into Power BI. So apart from taking for granted here, we're still going to be building GIs for
Right.
day-to-day operations and screens
Exactly.
for our teams and driving dashboards. But any kind of
Right.
reporting, I'm going to go straight to here and build out a view.
Bail out view. Yep. Absolutely. So this is definitely a super solid ad for this version, right? I could then move back to low code if I want and be back in the UI, on how I generally put in exactly, and then you could go into the advanced view and do this that is here available in 25 R2.
Yeah.
So
Any SQL guy is going to love that. I mean, look at it.
yeah,
From this table where this is this, group it by this, order it by that.
okay, there's
Once you've
select.
got
Yep.
that, just select these things. Done.
Done.
The only
Exactly.
thing that's different is the select statements at the end. Put that at the
hmm
top and you've got SQL.
Yep. Yep.
Love it.
Love it. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I'm gonna stop sharing here, but yeah. So this is another one of those areas that is a huge improvement. It's just gonna get better and better, and we're gonna see, maybe the different ISVs, third parties come out with better GIs where you have access to that underlying statements and make your own updates and enhancements to those. So really cool stuff. Everything that we saw here today is just not like quick ads. These probably took years
Yeah.
to understand, put together the code, test, regression test, right? And then Acumatica would not have rolled this up. They felt that, hey, this is ready for end use customers. So I think they took their time on purpose. And I want to say that that this is Acumatica 2.0 in essence
Yeah.
from this point forward. And we're going to see a lot of additional functionality being built on top of what we're seeing in 25R2. This is one take a little bit longer than you generally do with your upgrades on this one, and find the right time to upgrade and when you feel most comfortable, because this one is a lot. This one is a lot.
Yeah. And this is why people should listen to our reasons to avoid customizations. Because if you're out there and you've got like 25 customizations and you're on 24R2, best of luck to you.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of validation to do
A
before you
lot
get
of
anywhere
validation.
near ready.
Exactly. And if you're on Acumatica, is always current, You gotta start testing now.
Yeah. This is a great advert for Flex and a great advert for our back catalogue of episodes.
So I think this is great. 25R2, it's here, available. Have at it, folks.
That's all for today's episode of the ABCs of ERP and Beyond. We hope that this deep dive into Acumatica 2025 R2 gave you a clearer picture of where the platform's heading over the next few years, not just over the next year. Some huge features like the modern UI, automation, of course AI, more integrations with other companies such as Bill.com.
Yep.
There's a lot to get your teeth into. So I really think that this is. It always feels like we're at the next generation of ERP, but this is the one where I feel like we are actually at the next generation.
We're actually at the next generation.
But if you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to follow the show wherever you get your podcasts. We we also launch these on YouTube. So if you're wondering where we're saying, oh, let me share my screen, how that works on an audio-only podcast, well, we're not audio-only. Find us on YouTube, ABCs of ERP and Beyond, and all normal podcast platforms, so that's Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever else, we'll be there. We do this for free. You'll notice there's no adverts whatsoever. There's no Patreon. We just do it for the love of it. So we really do appreciate the people to share this podcast. So make sure you like it, subscribe to it, and pass it on to people that you might think will benefit from it. So thanks for listening, as always. And Nirav, thank you once again.
Absolutely, Peter.
I will catch you next week to record a podcast. But it'll be another in-person podcast.
It's going to be an in-person one.
Yep. I'll be there in Chicago next week. Well, I fly out tomorrow. So next weekend, at some point, we should grab some time, do another in-person episode.
Can't wait. We'll have some deep dish pizza at the same time.
Oh, yeah. At the same time? Ooh.
Yeah. We'll review the deep dish pizza. How about that? We'll review the pizza while we're doing the podcast.
With an ERP spin.
With an ERP spin on it. Exactly.
Very good. Enjoy, and I'll catch you on the next episode.
All right. Excellent.
Okay, bye.
Ciao.